Hey guys, Mohan Pobera here, and today I want to share with you how you can make a successful exit from a business without ever operating or managing the day-to-day of the business. My name is Mohan Pobera. I'm an investor, a businessman, and I'm sharing my experience and document my journey in the space of buying existing established businesses. And I'm sharing my thoughts on why I believe that you should go out there and buy existing businesses versus starting them from scratch. And this is me sharing my journey. Like, one of my best deal was an app company that I bought and grew it to a point where it was in the top 100 apps in more than 100 stores in the App Store. It made me a lot of money, but I mean, forget about me. I mean, some of my students were able to buy anywhere from 1 to 3 different businesses in less than a year while having someone else running the day-to-day for them, and while not using their own money to do those deals. And heck, the deal that we're talking about businesses doing at least 1 million a year in sales. All you need for 90+% of you guys, all you need is one deal to make you financially free. And even if you have an existing business, I know for sure that that's the best way for you to grow your business, which isn't by doing more sales and marketing, but it's to go out there and buy other complementary businesses or even your competitors. And before we get back to today's topic, if you want to check more about that, I'm going to put a link to a free training that I created on this, and I'm going to create on this. So I'm just going to post it somewhere below this video. So let's go back to today's topic. So I'm basically promised you to show you, hey, how you can make an exit from a business without ever operating it. So let's start with an exit, how people even get to an exit. When I'm talking about exit, I'm talking about taking to your bank account at least multiple 6 or 7 figures, ideally after taxes, in cash, into your bank account. And that can be done with just one deal. I'm going to show you in a bit how, but what most people do, right? So most people, the way that they know to do that is to go out there, start a business from scratch, and hoping that one day someone will buy their business, or maybe they can take their business public. The problem with that is that 96% of businesses fail in the first 10 years. And I'm not trying to be pessimist. Those are the stats out there. You can go out and check for yourself. And even those who survive, if you check the US, the United States, most of the businesses there don't report more than $50,000 a year in revenues for those businesses. So even if you make it 1 out of 10, it's really hard to make significant amount of money from those businesses. So literally your chances to become like an NBA player or like a professional movie star is literally higher than becoming a successful businessman or woman and make a lot of money. I'm talking 7-figure plus, right? And that's assuming that you're following the conventional wisdom of starting a business from scratch. And that's unfortunately what 99% of people out there are talking about. They're talking about, hey, go out there, start a business from scratch, come up with something you're passionate about, and go and sell that, or drop ship some products from China or whatever. And unfortunately, it just not work most of the time. Now, just to end the startup thing before we go to the solution, is that most people that message me who want to get into business or have a business, and the reason that they got into business in the first place is that they want income and they want lifestyle. And by income, I mean a consistent income plus a vehicle that can build them wealth. Now, if those are your goals, don't start a business from scratch. I mean, unless you want to be like the next Facebook or have the next artificial intelligence robot that you want to program yourself, there's no reason for you to start something from scratch, because you just have, unfortunately, high chances of failing. Compare that to go out there and buy existing businesses or doing deals like the ones that I'm going to mention to you right now. And your chances of becoming a successful businessman and have the lifestyle, because you have a team running the day-to-day for you. You're just stepping back and taking the high-level decisions. You're the deal maker. You're closing deals. So that's going to bring you the lifestyle plus. I mean, obviously having equity in ideally multiple transactions is the best way to build wealth. Having equity in multiple assets, and the best asset in my opinion is a good business, because the upside is just the best compared to anything else out there. Compare business to like real estate or anything else out there. It just, if you know to buy the right businesses, I'm talking businesses that already exist for 5-10 years, they are as stable as real estate, but the upside can be like amazingly higher, because I don't know many real estate assets that can bring you growth of 100, 200, 300% a year. And in business, it's more than doable if you obviously learn the right way of doing business. So today I want to share with you something that I'm experimenting with lately that's going to be able to literally give you the option to make an exit of a few $1,000,000 within a few weeks. I'm not even talking about you buying the business. I'm talking about having an exit of a few $1,000,000 without ever owning and even managing the managers, if that makes sense. And the way it works, I'll go through the steps right now and just follow those steps. And hopefully, if you get those results, just message me and send me testimonials, because this is by far the most exciting part of deal making and buying businesses that I've came across. And I know I don't know anyone who's doing it actively right now, and that's going to be a lot of my focus right now in the next few months. But I'm happy to share it with you because I know most people just don't going to take action anyway, but those of you who will, I know it can change your life. So the way it works is, first step, go and register a company, an LLC or an SPV in the UK, wherever you're from, just have a company that's going to cost you a few bucks. Your next step would be to go out there and find few businesses in the same sector who are looking to sell their business, right? So let's say we find 4 or 5 different businesses, let's say 5 businesses to make the math simple. And each of those is making $1,000,000, right? So you find 5 businesses in the same sector who are looking to sell their business, and you offer them obviously an offer to buy their business. So let's keep math simple. Let's say you made an offer to buy their businesses for 4x multiples of their profits, or whatever you negotiate with and find terms with them. So you make an offer, you find a way to get acceptance on all of those 5 businesses. So now you have basically 5 businesses that you can buy for 4x multiples, right? So that's the first step. Now the beauty with what you just did, you basically took few companies that are doing 1 million, you combined them together and created a company that's 5 times bigger than each of those separately, right? So let's say if separately someone will pay them 4x multiples, as a combined entity that you now created, someone will be able to pay at least 7 times or even 10 times multiples, right? So you paid 4x multiples, and then a bigger buyer will be willing to pay at least 7 or 10 times multiples, right? So let's say you made an offer to buy those 5 businesses for 5 million. You now find someone who will pay you 7 million or 10 million in an ideal scenario, right? And I mean, that's how business is being done. The bigger the business is, the more someone will be willing to pay, because obviously there is more meat in that operation, more employees, less risk, all that stuff, right? More assets. So your goal is find 5 businesses. You can buy them for 4 million, for 4 multiples, and then find someone who can pay you 10 million. And it's going to be easy because you now created an entity that is 5 times bigger. So the beauty is, I hope you understand, guys, what you just did is you made an offer on one business, right? So let's say you made an offer for 4x of their profits, and then you went and find a buyer who will be willing to pay you 10 times. So let's say you have 5 million in total. Now someone is willing to pay you 10 times multiples for that. We're talking about $50 million that someone is willing to pay you for that business, right? Because like we said, we have 5 different businesses, each of them, let's say, making 1 million in profit. We're talking about 5 million in profit total in the combined entity that you now basically have control on. And now you gotta find a buyer. You found a buyer who's willing to pay you 10 times multiples on the profit. So they're basically paying 50 million, and you just paid much less. In our case, obviously depends on the price, but let's say in our example, we said we're going to pay 4 times multiples. So we're going to pay 20 million basically to those sellers. And then you have the difference of $30 million that you can play with, you can take for yourself, or obviously depends on the structure that you do the deal. So the best way to do it is just tell the owners, hey guys, you're going to put like a sales and purchase agreement and saying, hey, as long as we achieve X, which is going to be whatever the amount we're going to negotiate with, as long as we're going to achieve X price in Y time, we're going to do that deal. And you have some kind of an option for a few months or a few weeks or whatever you need to find that buyer. And then you can have a difference of literally 10 to 20 to 30 to $50 million per deal like that with a company that took you just a few weeks to create. So you can play on the differences, or what you can also do is basically take equity in the combined entity. So that was one way. Another thing is you can just negotiate taking equity in the combined group. So let's say that would be the easiest. You just tell them, hey, let's combine the companies and I want to take 20% or whatever from the combined entity, right? So let's say you now have 20% in a combined group of 5 other companies, and then you go out there, find a buyer to pay you $50 million, and then you take $10 million for just arranging everything. And obviously you put everything together, you found the buyer, you found the seller. So you did some work, but you didn't manage any business. You didn't have any, I guess, weekly reports or KPIs or monthly board members call or anything like that with your team. And you can make a literally generational worth of wealth within few weeks of putting everything together. Obviously, you need to find the right deal. You need to know how to negotiate. You got to have the right legals, the right structure. You need to then make sure that you combine financials, so making everything look like a merged account. So there's a lot of work involved, obviously, in the process, but it's the easiest and simple way to make literally a few $1 million within a few weeks by finding few good companies who want to sell for X, and then the combined group can be sold for 5 times more, right? And then you find the buyer, you bring the sellers, and you are the person who's getting everything done. You're combining everything, and you either take equity from the combined group, or you find a way to take your fee from the buyer, which can be just the differences in multiples, which is going to be harder to do because buyers are sophisticated many times, or can just be a fee that you agree with them. So let's say you tell them, hey, you want to pay X, let's get it done. And many real estate investors are doing it with wholesaling. And then, I mean, there's literally limitless amount of opportunities here, and the deals that you can do here compared to real estate is just, I mean, I just gave you an example of how you can potentially do $10-20 million in a deal like that, literally within a few weeks of just bringing people together and giving everyone the value, right? So you're transparent, you can be transparent with everyone and just give everyone the value, and then making $10 million in a few weeks, heck, a few months. I think it's not a bad payday. Now, those deals are being done every day. Obviously, that's a specific structure that I mentioned, but there are tons of other deal structures and type of deals that you can do when you understand the value of going out there and becoming an investor and someone who's out there to look and to buy businesses as an investor versus someone who's an operator starting businesses from scratch. Those deals are being done every day in Wall Street. And now you can start to do those deals in the small business space because there are so many more opportunities nowadays with different financial institutions and with different business owners who are looking to sell, because there's so many baby boomers are out there right now who are looking to exit. So I hope that gets you excited even just a little bit on what's possible. If you want to get, I guess, more and learn more about this space, I'm going to put links below this video on free training that I'm creating on showing you how some of my students are buying anywhere from 1 to 3 businesses a year while having someone operate the businesses for them, while using other people's money to do those type of deals like the ones I mentioned here, and how they create themselves, obviously, financial freedom with doing all those deals. So definitely check the links below this video and stay in touch with me all over the place on all social media platforms. I'm trying to post as many videos and content and articles and different value for you guys, because I'm documenting my journey with you, and this is something that I wish that I had when I started. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.